Hey y'all, so this is Nia talking Nia. I'm Nia, and we're gonna talk about it. Let's get into the whole Bren of it all in Ubah. I just want to preface this before I talk about this conversation. This is going to be triggering. It's about colorism. It's about racism. It's about TV. It's about reality TV. It's about Bravo of it all. And it still continues. If anything gets worse, which makes absolutely no sense. But we need to talk about this. I also want to say that in this, I'm not going to be saying alleged, only because Bryn has said what she's been through and what she's gone through and how her life was so hard as a kid and a biracial kid, all this other stuff. She said it on TV. So if you want to sit up here and sue people just because people are talking about you on a television show that you decided to be on, go do something with yourself. And I'm not even going to, I'm going to try to work, I don't want to curse, okay? Go do something with yourself. We really need to talk about how that was the most colorist statement you ever had in your life. Let's get into it. So I'm not recapping the whole video. I'm only going to talk about parts that concerned me and parts that I've even went through. Literally, like, the whole situation was so triggering for me because I've been through that. I've been through a really bad, I was in a PWI institution, New Paltz University. I was in a really, really bad organization that was colorist, racist. It was disgusting. They had trauma. They were putting on other people, and they came for the black girl that was confident and didn't play no fucking games. Sorry, I had to curse. I'm sorry, but I did not play games. I didn't let nobody run amok on me, and that's what Ubah doesn't let happen either, and I respect her for that. Let's get into it. So one thing I want you to notice is there was a moment where the producers came in for Bren, and they were all, and this is their appearance. I'm judging their appearance. Call me wrong, but I'm pretty sure when I know how you doing. Okay? Gay white males walked in, and I want to let you know now that is the Bravo sphere of it all. You're tap dancing for white men, but they're gay. And people think just because they're gay white men that relieves them of racism and colorism. Oh no, they can't be. They're in the queer community. Absolutely not. It gets worse. And I'm from New York. I can tell you about the Hamptons. I can tell you about Fire Island. So, I can tell you about New Paltz, Woodstock. Yeah, y'all know these towns where these men are and how they act and what flag they got going around and what sign. So don't try to act like they're exempt. And that's sad to see, as that's all there was as producers, and they sat around lazy lounging. They weren't up. They weren't, like doing stuff. They were just lounging and talking to Bren as if what happened last night was of no concern. No concern. Y'all could tell me if I'm wrong in the comments. I really don't care. I know I'm right in what I saw and why what happened to Ubah happened. And Jessel, you saved yourself. You really did. Because I was ready to be like, she needs to get the boot. She's useless. You being, I guess, useless in a way in this episode actually helped. Thank you. You can stay. And I love Pavitt. I love your husband. He's so funny. He needs to say sorry to Sai, but he's funny. Let's talk about it. So in this particular episode, you have Bren and Ubah arguing and fighting. Now, it gets to a point where a lot of the housewives were in a room with Bren, and Bren was having a meltdown, in my opinion. I'm going off of what I'm seeing. Y'all get mad at me. I'm going off of what I'm seeing. She was being manic, in my opinion. She was freaking out. She was throwing a white woman tantrum, is what we call it. She was freaking out and probably doing what she only knows best to do when her back is against the wall, and she has to claim she did something wrong. She brought up some trauma from the past. Not gonna sit here and be like, oh, she's not true. No, it's just, what did that have to do with this conversation? It didn't. You started saying these disgusting things to Ubah because you were mad at a comment that she made. And yes, I ain't gonna sit here and be crazy. What Ubah said wasn't nice. But you need to understand, everybody on the show has said worser things. And what Bren likes to do as a woman of color that is light-skinned, that is, let's not even say light-skinned. I'm sorry, she is a white-presenting woman at the end of the day. If you didn't know that her hair wasn't fried, child, if she put some, you would have thought she was a white woman. So let me let you picture that if you're not familiar with Bren. So with that being said, she got the nerve to be arguing with someone who is dark-skinned, African, Canadian, Somali, the whole thing, a black woman who's had struggles just like her, I guess, right? She's had struggles, right? I don't know. Right. With her privilege, she's had struggles. Because Ubah is telling you, girl, I know you didn't get here by actually having some talent. I know you didn't get here on business. Right? And Ubah picked her words carefully. She said maybe. And that's the vibe that Bren gives. Bren talks about being sexual. She talks about this, right? And I'm not saying that is a reason for whatever happened to her, or I'm not saying that that's like, oh, well, yeah, you should expect this. No, absolutely not. But we're not going to play this, what's it called? Me Too movement, which obviously I'm part of. I love that movement. I think it stands for something very great in protecting women. But we're not going to use that. This is what these shows do. They use like Me Too or Black Lives Matters in the wrong situation so that they can have a one-up on somebody who actually is for the cause, somebody who actually has meaning, somebody who actually gives a F about what's going on. Someone who went through the experiences. Someone who is better, to know better than to fight about these things. When Ubah was sitting at the table and she was on her phone doing what she wanted to do, she was minding her business. And that bothered Bren because Bren wants to be Ubah, in my opinion. From what I see, it reminds me of Jessel and Monique. It reminds me of Ashley and Candace. It reminds me of the colorism of it all. When you have a biracial person, specifically a woman, who doesn't feel enough on white or black, on either side, somehow, some way, they always attack the black woman. It's their fault. And I'm tired of seeing that. It's this, yes, we're all talking about it, and I know Bravo loves that. They want to get, publicity and stuff, but you're realizing that these people are getting publicity out of the wrong things. Because when I talk about Eat, Pray, Love, that show, that they produced. Yeah, there was a little controversy with the whole UK and black women thing. Yeah, that was a little, it was big, but it wasn't too big, right? It was, squashable. And they were able to move on and have such joy and beautiness, I think, because of the people that were in it. But that's a good example of how a show can be loving. A show can be good without having colorism arise or these crazy conflicts that just don't make sense, all these lies, and it's just too much. But let's get back into the whole colorism of it all. So, Bren's upset that Ubah's talking about her. And I'm going to say that's the annoying part too. The whole Karen of it all is Bren loves to throw rocks and stones. But when Ubah throws a boulder at her with 2 sentences, not even 2 words, Bren is crying. YT tears down. She is crying. And I know y'all want to sit here and say, well, she's black. She's black. She never presented herself as a black woman on this show. Ever. You got to understand that. You look at pictures of her, you wouldn't even know. And that's not her fault. I'm sure she wants to be like, yeah. She does not. I've never seen braids up in her head. I've never seen her put extensions in. And that's what I have to say, I assume. I don't see her carry herself as a proud black woman. She talks about her parents, all this other stuff, not wanting her, the grandparents having a bad relationship. I can't say, well, I can't say I understand. I can say I empathize for you. But you can't use your trauma to make others feel what they're doing is wrong because they're living life in a way that is good for them and also appropriate and also showing they have some self-worth and that they have intelligence. You cannot, Bren, and if you're listening, which you probably won't, you can't let your trauma be a boundary for others besides yourself. Let me be clear about that. A lot of people with childhood trauma, because I will get into the argument, but y'all already know what they were saying. But I do want to talk about trauma. A lot of times when it comes to childhood trauma, people who have not resolved that ish and haven't gone to therapy and dealt with it, bad people, I will say, people who are not kind, people who take things out on other people, attention seekers, they end up going into the world and doing what they know best, which is to manipulate to get attention, to do terrible things to get attention, to be sly and like plan and plot, and it's so disgusting. I've dealt with it myself. I literally had a group of people that, and there was a black gay male in that group who wanted to be me, and I think wanted to F me at the same time, and I was not here for any of it. Try to destroy my character. I had that happen to me. It was only one black male, and the rest of the whole squad was I would say Latin. That was it. And from the Bronx. So you already know what that clash is like. And it's unfortunate that that's happening at this 2020. Wait, I think it was 2023 or 2022, but it was happening. And that hurt. It hurt. The way they did it was slick. It was disgusting. They made up lies about me. They really like tried to assassinate my character. And that PWI, New Paltz University, and I'm comparing it to Bravo TV, right? They don't do anything about it. And it's destroying. It makes you want to scream, shout. It made me say to myself, I want to unalive myself. And that is why I made this channel. I've never said that before. I've never even thought of it. I just couldn't understand why a group of people controlled by one individual, let's put this Bren, right? I was dealing with the gay male, I'm not going to say his name, but imagine Bren, able to manipulate everyone because of their childhood trauma, and they know how to get to people, they know how to talk to people so that they can get what they want and get them on their side, and bully the person that's in the group that's actually the whistleblower, kind person, and being themselves. They are likable because they're being themselves, and I've dealt with that too as a black woman. I've dealt with that. Being myself and being likable, people in groups hate me. They do. They cannot be themselves. I think of Ashley and Candace. Same situation. Ashley does not like Candace because Candace is talented. She's talented. The girl can sing, okay? I don't care what you say about her. Her mouth can get crazy. Absolutely. She can be a little, I'm not going to say ditzy, but she could be a little, like, oblivious to things sometimes, but she's not stupid. She's not. I just think she's a little prideful, sadly, and she won't, like, take a second and be like, yeah, what I said was wrong. That's unfortunate. But when she was talking about colorism of it all, she was not lying. And that conversation was done poorly. And the fact that Andy has still not gotten off his nasty little throne is disgusting. I don't even think he should have been having this conversation with Ubah. And you should have brought someone in. Any blogger, to be honest, could have told you. Black blogger could have told you what we saw. And how that wasn't entertaining for us. That was hurtful. You didn't need to end the season like that. There didn't need to be this bang of racism and colorism coming out of Bren's mouth. We didn't need that. Now, let's get off the topic of me and let's get off the topic of Ashley and Candace. Let's talk about the pool. They were in the pool and Bren said horrific things about Ubah, right? Ubah reacted. Bren does this thing, like I said, she throws rocks and stones. Ubah throws boulders, and it's the end of the day. It's the big black bad wolf. It's the aggressive black woman. Right? Right? It's the aggressive black woman, and I'm tired of it, Bren. So with that being said, Bren said things on the lines of, you worked for a dress barn. You're not Naomi, to Ubah. Let's do some fact checking real quick. I looked up Ubah. Her last name popped up quickly. I looked up Bren. Bren's last name popped up quickly. When I looked up Ubah, you saw a whole Wikipedia page about what she does, where she's been, every brand, Gucci, Louis, everything she's been in the runways. She's a successful black businesswoman. Canadian, African, black, everything. Living here in New York. She's doing art. She is a sweetheart. She may have some tough words. She may even have words I don't agree with, right? I don't know her. But what I want to say is I'm not going to paint her as this monster because she's dark-skinned, tall, and beautiful. And Bren, you are not. We're not doing that. No. We're not doing that. So she's demeaning her career. Now, mind you, when you look up Bren Woodfield, whatever her name is, if you could find her wiki and send it to me, I will be grateful. Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments. Go ahead. I want to see what this wiki says, because I couldn't find it. I saw fandom and all these other things, but I did. The first thing that popped up wasn't a Wikipedia page. Even when you look at the other housewives, they have Wikipedia pages of their businesses and themselves and what they've done and where they come from. Bren is the only one without that. And this is my opinion. This is from what I looked up. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. So let's fast forward to her crying in her room talking about, I told her what happened to me and how I was, we're going to say R or S-A, right? I told Ubah what happened to me, and for her to say something, a joke like that or a dig, is awful and hurtful, and all the women, white women, let's talk about it, the tears, oh my God. Only person that I really think was Jessel in the moment and Sai. Jessel looked at her like, I'm sorry, but this was good. This is why, okay, maybe I see why you and Poppy get along. Jessel was like you could tell Jessel was empathetic, but she was confused. And it was coming from a very sincere, naive place. It was kind of, in a good way, like, it was kind of like, I know Ubah, and Ubah wouldn't do that. So I don't get why you're acting like this, but that didn't come out her mouth because she knows she would have gotten torn down by that group. Because they were doing the boo-hoos, the new woman, the Puerto Rican woman, all that. She was doing the boo-hoos. And this is what I mean. I can't, no, we're going to talk about it. I can't stand it. It's the fact that you're in the queer community. You and Jen are in the queer community, and y'all are just like, oh, because we're in the queer community, we have to side with women. We have to side with any bullshit a woman says. No, what was coming out of her mouth was BS, and Sai saw through that, and I loved that. I was like, thank you. Like, she saw through the whole thing. Sai was not giving it the time of day. Whether she liked Ubah, Bren, I could just tell Sai was like, I'm not buying this childish-ish. Like, no, you're crazy. You're being manic. You're repeating yourself. And when people are manic, this is my opinion, I'm allowed to say what I saw on that show, they repeat over and over what happened over and over and over, so that you are convinced more than ever that it's true. And what we're not talking about the physical, what happened to her. We're talking about the fact that she said Ubah knew. That was the problem. And even when she said it, I was like, I know Ubah didn't know. Ubah wouldn't say it. She didn't know. Why? And also, my friend brought up a good point because we were watching it. Why did Bren not talk to Ubah about it? Why did she not go to Ubah and be like, you knew what happened to me? She'd never talked to Ubah about anything at all. Never talked to her. Even when they rekindled and came together, and Ubah was forced to apologize because she didn't want to be seen as the dark, black, tall woman that was angry. So Ubah does the right thing, right? Which is going to apologize. But the wrong thing, I would say, on Ubah's part is giving into the fact that she was lying. However, Ubah didn't know. She was trying to do the right thing and be a good friend. But Ubah didn't know what Bren had said, and that's why Bren was not forgiving when they came back together after she was blowing off with all that. And I'm glad that Ubah did pull, that other woman, why am I forgetting her name? But she pulled the other woman to the side and was just like, hey, I think that I can't understand why she's getting so upset and this and that. Do you still understand that none of them still mentioned what Ubah knew? And I thought that was interesting because I don't think they knew Ubah didn't know or did know. I think they were just confused. I think it was a very confusing moment, and I'm glad that there were people that talked to Ubah, and the only person who saved the day was Jessel at the end of the day. But let's get back into it. When she's crying, she got the nerve to say, why can't a black woman just be successful and do this? This is what you were waiting for. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You gonna sit here and ask, why can't a black woman just be successful when you sat in that pool and you talked like a child, disgusting and nasty, and don't throwing a tantrum saying that Ubah, it was not successful as a black woman? How dare you say, oh, black woman, I can't be successful. Why everybody coming at me like that? Meanwhile, you look like the whitest lady I've ever seen. And I'm not even trying to throw shade. I'm not trying to be racist. What I'm saying is, you know what Bren looks like and how she presents herself. We know her childhood trauma. I can only guess more that has happened. I can only guess more. But I know she's acting out of her childhood trauma. She really is. And it's unacceptable because she's an adult. She's too old for this. She was way too manic. Way too manic at that moment. And her saying that was such a punch in the face. And I'm sure that Ubah didn't even know she said that. But still, it was just like, you just demeaned Ubah for like a whole minute, a hot minute, saying how she was unsuccessful and a black model. You said she's not Naomi. You say you're not Naomi. Bren, you are jealous that Ubah is dark, black, gorgeous, outspoken, and still gets shit done on the runway and in her bank. And in her love life. Shoot. The girl don't got to tell you everything, but she look happy. Leave her alone. So, with that being said, it reminds me of Jessel and Monique. When she said, Monique, you're dangerous. I don't want my kids around you. Meanwhile, Monique is gorgeous, beautiful. Yeah, that incident happened, but your past does not define who you are. And if she is a child of God, she should have known that. And also the way she looked at her like she was a mad black woman, Jessel, was disgusting. And that was able to slide on Bravo, right? Candace and Ashley. Candace is a firecracker, and Ashley knows she can light that. She can ignite her. She can make her pop, right? So Ashley toys, throws her rocks and her stones. Candace throws a boulder, and all of a sudden, it's called Candace went too far. Candace should know to keep her mouth shut. That's why she got hit, which is unacceptable. So now you have someone that's in the same group as Jessel talking about how violence is okay because you don't like them. That's something that biracial women that are racist do and colorists do. They make it so that it's acceptable to be violent or dangerous or disrespectful towards a dark-skinned woman when she is telling the truth. So it forces you, which I've experienced this, it forces you as a black woman to, one, be confused. It forces you to break down. It forces you maybe to act out of confusion and anger. It puts the anger stereotype on you. And it's one of those things where you sitting down enjoying your chips, having a good day. Let's use an analogy right now. Having a good day and you're happy. Then someone comes along and tells you you're angry. Meanwhile, you enjoying yourself. You're like, what? I'm not angry. And then someone keeps telling you you're angry. Then it makes you angry. And then they're like, see, I told you she was an angry black woman. That's what Bren, Ashley, and Jessel do. The gaslighting of it all from the most colorist woman, in my opinion, women, plural, on this network is disgusting. And do you notice how they all look the same? Do you notice how they all look the same? This is what is presentable and comfortable to white people on television. And guess what? Remember when I talked about the producers? They're not exempt. These women are comfortable and acceptable for them as white gay men. Period. And I know they probably want to throw a lawsuit my way, so I'm going to just say this right now. I'm not saying alleged, but I'm saying my opinion based off of what I see and my personal experience. So I could sit here and try to say alleged all y'all want, but I'm not doing that because y'all trying to sue small people like influencers and bloggers and stuff that are just trying to tell the truth already shows enough that y'all are racist in itself and colorist. Now, I know you're probably watching this like, why do you still watch this stuff? There are people on this show that don't stand for that. There are people that are not manipulated and don't blow with the wind. I call people like Jenna and what's her name, the other lesbian chick, they blow with the wind. Oh my God, this is happening. I'm over here. I'm over here. This is happening. I'm over here. They blow with the wind. And that's just also something in the queer community you don't want to do. Don't just blow with the wind. And if you're not queer and you don't understand all of this, just know, don't think that everything someone says that is queer is true. Even me, like, don't come at me and be like, oh, Nia's like, do your research and have your own opinion. Please be your own person. I know there's people that want to be woken with the culture and stuff like that, and I love that. But don't just go with where the wind blows. Because that don't make no damn sense. But let's continue. Now that I've talked about Ashley, Jessel, and all the colorists of it all, let's continue on to Bren and Ubah. So there's a moment where they're trying to tell her, hey, just apologize to her, apologize. She's really crying in there, Ubah goes out into a couch. Ubah does a really nice thing she didn't have to do. Pulls her to the side. It says, and then Bren's like, don't touch me, don't touch me. You don't have to touch me. Making it seem like Ubah is violent, knowing that that's Ubah's communication. She just like, she's caring, she's catering. She's like a sweetheart when it comes to rekindling things. She can be a firecracker, but she's also sweet. I really feel and see myself like in Ubah. Like, I'm the same way. So I get it. She's just trying to pull her to the side and trying to rekindle and just be like, hey, let's fix this. This is the trip. We got to work this out. I know we have blow-ups for TV, this and that. But mind you, Ubah doesn't know what Bren said in there. Nobody told her. Except for Jessel. That's what I'm saying. When it came, Jessel told her later. I was like, Jessel really had a moment where she was just being her little self. You know, Jessel. You know, and she was like, oh, you didn't know? Like, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So while they're on this couch talking, and Ubah's trying to rekindle and fix it and apologize, which I don't think she should have apologized at all, even though she was trying to be nice and do the right thing so that the group could come together, not for the sake of Bren, but so the group could come together. You see how Bren is just not those type of nasty people you gotta look at when they don't accept an apology, when they're just like looking for a reason to be mad at you. Those are the type of people that really want to F you and like you a lot, but they just don't want to say it. And because of that, they're going to act crazy. And I'm not saying that's what Bren wants to do. But what I'm saying is I've noticed a pattern in people like this. Like, you do the right thing. It's like they see you as the good person that they want to be that they can't be. Let's get into it. They see you as the good person that they want to be, but they can't be. They see you as the good person that everybody likes, but they not liked. They not liked for being themselves as their natural self. They're liked for being fake, maybe, right? So they see you, you're liked, you're smart, you're yourself. Ooh, I tell you that, eat people up. I tell you all the time, you being yourself will eat somebody up. So you got that. And then it's like, on top of that, they probably really like, you know, they think you sexy. That's why I say they think you sexy. Whether they're gay or straight up, they think you sexy. So they got all of this boiling in them, festering, confusion going on. And they choose to be nasty to you and mean to you so that they can get the reaction that they want and they can get the image that they want of you, which is a bad person. That is what Bren does to Ubah throughout this whole entire fucking show. Excuse my language. She does that to Ubah. She wants people to see that she is awful because she cannot be Ubah. She can't. She's not a model. She don't got it like that. I'm sorry, but she's not editorial. I would not hire her for nothing. Maybe she could sit in the back row, but I would not. No. She is not editorial. There's no and I feel like that's another thing. Let's go on a tangent real quick. When it comes to Bren's look, it's not that she's not pretty. It's not that no one's not pretty. It's the fact that being a biracial woman or even as a kid or whatever, there is a lot of bad things in the Black community where they try to tell these young girls that they're better, that they could model, that, you know, white people will love them. You are profitable to the Black community. And then they get up, they like Ashley, they get up out here and they can't get no Chris Bassett. They got to be with a nasty old Michael Darby. Like, ew. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that trauma, really gets to a biracial woman when it comes to the colorism of it all. And then they come out here and they see a black woman being loved for her blackness, her dark skin blackness. The only thing she can't claim being white. Bren can claim being white all day, whatever. She can't. And she's owning and she's loving it, right? She's going through what she's going through and still saying, yeah, I'm here. I'm on the Gucci Runway fashion show. What's up? That's Ubah. Bren can't do that. That's why I really think it's so bad in the black community when it comes to the whole colorism of it all, when there is a lot of uneducated black males stepping out, having intercourse with YT women, and then all of a sudden they have a child and they're telling their child that their child is better than the dark-skinned person or the dark-skinned child. And that right there is where you mess things up. Because Bren, in my opinion, this is my opinion from what I see on the show and what we know about her family history, her being sent to the middle of nowhere with her grandmother, I don't even know what she experienced as a biracial kid. You don't even know. And I'm not saying her family. Let's just talk about things we've seen and we know in the black community. Not being good enough for your YT folk and your BLK folk as a biracial person. I can only imagine what you go through, but you need to understand, you need to stop taking that out on other people. And I know I'm going to have comments and people try to say this is a racist video, but it's not. We're talking about colorism, and I'm not going to stop. I'm not. Especially, I'm dressed like this. I'm just, boop, 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 boop. This is a real video for you. This is serious. I don't think I've talked about colorism in a minute, but here we go again. Here we go again, because that's not how TV should work. That doesn't, me talking about it because that happened should not be how Bravo wants publicity. No. I did not see a producer do a thing, make a statement, or say anything. They looked at them like they were crazy so that it was good television. They just made sure they didn't fight. That's it. Production at Bravo sucks, in my opinion. So, let's keep going. A key part that I wanted you to notice was that Bren did not bring up anything to Ubah about her knowing about what happened to her and the SAR of it all. She didn't bring it up to Ubah. Ubah's sitting here apologizing for jack-ish nothing. Right? Nothing. And she didn't even know what she apologizing for. The rest of the group knows. She doesn't know. Sai might not have known, but she doesn't know. So now you're at a point where I'm watching someone be so nasty to Ubah when Ubah doesn't even know what you said. Ubah doesn't even know what you've been through. So you have to think about that. Now you see how Bren is plotting and planning. She really incriminated herself, and I hope she gets kicked off the show. She really incriminated herself. She did. She incriminated herself by not saying to Ubah, I told the girls, da-da-da-da-da. She ain't do that. She didn't say nothing. The girl said nothing, which is concerning to me, and y'all need to look at her with the side eye, like the, oh. Look at her with the side eye. Don't do that. Y'all really should be concerned, because that was a manic, disgusting, it gave me bipolar. This is my opinion. It creeped me out. And I'm not saying you're disgusting because you're bipolar. I'm saying disgusting because of how she's manipulating a group and using a very, very, very sensitive topic to put down a dark-skinned black woman. I don't like that. So then, go back inside. Everybody's eating. Jenna's like, I can't eat. And I love Jenna, but I'm just saying, girl, Ubah is not evil. You need to, I know you're queer and you have a heart, which I love, but she's using your queerness, and queer people, please understand that, include myself, they're using your queerness to gain power over your emotions and how you feel about a situation. Because they know you would never sit here and say, oh, what you went through didn't mean nothing. I believe Ubah. No. They know how you're going to react. And for television, that's gold, and specifically Bravo TV when it comes to colorism and racism of it all in the queer community. So, now you're at a point where everybody's tired. They're taking mics off, all of that, right? And it gets to a point where Jessel saved the day. Jessel really saved the season. She saved the day. And I'm not saying Ubah acting this way saved the television, but it clarified why people were acting the way they acted and why Bren was acting the way she acted. And I hope it gave justice to Ubah. That's what I'm hoping. It really gave justice for her. But let's get into it. Jessel goes into Ubah's room because Jessel's just like, yo, this issue's crazy. You could tell Jessel's like, what in the heck just happened? Jessel goes in there and she like, girl, did you know what she just said? She said you knew this. Did you know that? You know, and Jessel being herself, did you know that? Like, it wasn't even like for me, it wasn't stirring up drama. It was genuinely like Jessel just being confused. And she's always confused. So it was a little lighthearted moment, but at the same time, it was like, yo, here we go. So Jessel, being the good friend that she is, explains to Ubah everything that happened in there and what she said and how it was confusing, but they did, you know, you feel for her and believe her, but it was like something about it wasn't adding up, in my opinion. That's not what she said word for word, but that's what I was looking at. I could tell that's why Jessel went in there, because it wasn't adding up, and that's Ubah's friend. They're like best friends. It wasn't adding up to her. She knows Ubah wouldn't do that. So then Ubah is yelling, screaming. That's what I went through. I want to tell you, the way Ubah acted was what I went through when I dealt with New Paltz University and how toxic that organization was and what they did to me. When someone lies on you, defames you, and like put like just a character assassination on you in the worst way, it's just like, it sucks, because one, you know you didn't do it. But then two, it's like, you know, you can't even do nothing about it because the claim is so harsh that if you say something, they're going to twist. You know they're going to twist that. They're going to twist that ish in a second. So you're thinking about what to do. You're freaking out. You have now all of a sudden, you have to understand in Ubah's head, she's like, wow, I have a group of women that sat there while I was trying to be kind because I didn't even know why this girl was mad at me. That all these women sat there and they think this about me. They think I would even do that. They didn't say nothing. I would think Sai and Jessel were the only people to have common effing sense. Which makes me mad. Because I'm like, Jessel out of all people, you know, she a little loop-de-doop. But she still clocked it like, you're not gonna, like, no. Cultured women coming from two different cultures and still can understand. I thought that was actually pretty beautiful. Come together and be like, I got you. No, we're not going to let this American trap. Let me not say that. We're not going to let this woman do that. We're not. But for me, it was the fact that, you know, you heard Ubah scream this and that, and it was kind of like, I don't think it was an act. I don't think it was for television. I think that was very serious because this was when everything went down. Like, Jessel picked after, like, for the cameras to go down so that maybe they could talk about it the next day. And you see Bren just acting like a child. She's acting like she doesn't know anything. She's not saying anything. She doesn't want to talk. She's acting scared of her. She is allowing, and I think that's where Bren messed up. She told too many people. See, when you're manic, you mess up, Bren. So she told too many people in that room. And Sai walked away. So that was one out. But still, she told too many people in that room. Therefore, Jessel, I'm telling you, the cameras was on her face for a reason. Jessel, in her head, I know she was like, something ain't right. This is weird. So she messed up because Jessel waited till the cameras went down to tell Ubah, because she probably knew Ubah was going to be like, what? But the fact that you could tell Bren went to sleep and she was like, okay, I did all my damage. I'm good. I'm going to wake up the next day and we're going to talk about this. Didn't happen. She told Jessel, and that's where she messed up, and that's where justice was served. And karma is justice was served. Jessel to the rescue, went and told Ubah, and Ubah went off on her, and Bren was not expecting that. Bren was going to go to sleep, and this is about nasty, manipulative, crazy freaking people. They will go to sleep with a good sleep, like, I just ruined their life. Weirdos, just weirdos will go to sleep like that. Because the way she acted when she woke up the next day after seeing Ubah, so I would have walked up to Ubah and been like, I'm so sorry, I wasn't da-da-da-da. And then after that, let's actually go back to that night. During that night, they were in the room and they were talking, and Bren kept going in and out of the room, saying stuff, and Bren gonna go, well, now that I think about it, maybe Ubah didn't clock it. And even her usage, like her terminology, clock it. Like, what do you mean Ubah didn't clock it? So you're saying You're giving a reference to maybe I didn't tell her. Maybe she didn't know. Maybe she was unaware at the time. Maybe she was busy. That's like telling someone important news while they're juggling like 5 different tasks. Why would you do that? Don't say maybe she didn't clock it. So now she has revealed to the group that she lied. She overreacted. She was manic in my opinion, but she has revealed to the group that she lied, which was concerning for me, and that pissed me off. Sorry, y'all, that this conversation is so long, but when I'm passionate about something, y'all know. We're talking about colorism and racism and it all. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's get back into the conversation. All right. So, this girl lied. She goes to sleep. Let's say camera's down, everything's done, goes to sleep, wakes up. She's sitting on the couch with the white producers, right? They lounging, chilling. What's up? Hi. You got Bren sitting up here. Hi, everyone. Oh, hi. Like nothing ever happened. And I love Sai because Sai was like, what? Like, Sai is smart. She may have jokes. She may be funny. She may act like she's a little quirky, weird. I love it. I love her and her husband. She's not stupid. Sai is actually really, really smart. And I'm glad she's on this effing show. She is like talking in her confessionals like, yo, this is crazy. This was not normal. This wasn't just a TV moment. This is dangerous. People like this are dangerous. And Sai is smart because she's probably come across people like this before and dealt with the same thing that Ubah has dealt with and I have dealt with when it comes to being a woman of color in different industries and groups, in organization, being a strong woman, being vocal, being liked for just being yourself. You will get beat down by very narcissistic, mean, nasty, manipulative, childhood trauma people. I had to go through it to learn it. I didn't know people could be this sick. I didn't know somebody's obsession with me was going to literally make me want to say I want to unalive myself. It was dangerous. Newport University, if I could sue you, I would. You owe me so much money for the trauma that I have from that disgusting PWI. Disgusting. Don't go there. That's all I gotta say about that. So Sai is like the only person to sit on the couch and talk to her like, hey, what's going on? Brenna's talking about she's leaving, da-da-da. And, Sai is just sitting there concerned. Like, I don't like the way you're acting like everything's okay and that you didn't cause anything and you're not taking responsibility or talking to Ubah at all. Not saying, Ubah, are you all right? So I missed this. Ubah went to a hotel with Jessel. Let's say something about that. That was actually an amazing moment of friendship. Nobody else went with her except for Jessel. That was very kind, and I feel like that was straight from the heart. I loved to see that. I'm glad they showed that. I'm glad Ubah wasn't by herself. Literally, all I could think to myself is Ubah's going to leave the show. Ubah's going to quit. Like, I was so sad. That's all I could think because I thought about myself as a black woman, seeing what happened to her. I was like, she's going to quit. Like, this is disgusting. Why would somebody do that? And I didn't want her to quit. I didn't even want her to leave the house, but I know it was recommended. And you notice how the black, dark-skinned woman had to leave the house. The woman who was gaslit had to leave the house. Do y'all notice that? She was gaslit. She had to leave the house. And I'm not going to cry, but that is really just disgusting. Like, do you see how they do these things? While Bren got to sit up there in her humble abode, stretching. I just ruined somebody's life. I feel great. Disgusting. The biracial of it all. And not all biracial people are like this, but the ones that have trauma and they're not healed and they come into these black spaces of richness and golden personalities and going through their triumphs and being strong about it, they want to tear it the F down. And you're not going to do that to Ubah. I stand by Ubah. I will never, ever, ever, ever want that for any black woman. I don't care what shade. But we specifically have to talk about the colorism of it all when it comes to how dark-skinned women are treated and the whole angry black woman of it all on television. Moving on. I don't know if I said this before, but I'm pretty sure I did. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm also selling artwork on my channel. Yes, the prices look hefty, but you gotta understand your girl is moving. And on top of that, I did some work for that, and those are only one of a kind. And then the other point is that packaging that is hard. And I want to make sure you get your artwork in a timely fashion and make sure that it's secure and that there are no damages during the process of moving. So that's why the price is so high. But let's continue to speak. Subscribe. Hey, y'all. So, with that being said, now you're in a spot where Ubah has left the house. The next morning comes, and as y'all know what I said, and her being on the couch, Bren acting like nothing happened. So Bren packs up and leaves. Everybody else is still shook. They're not leaving at the same time as Bren. They let Bren leave first, and I love that. They let Bren leave first so that they could have a conversation about this, because they needed to. That was bizarre, gross, and disgusting what Bren did. So Bren leaves, and she texts, her little bestie on the show. I would say also the person closest to YT-ness. Not saying I don't like this one, but I'm just saying it's interesting. Aaron. You text Aaron out of everybody. I just think it's funny. So she goes, "Are you leaving? Did you leave yet?" The narcissism of it all was correct, and I'm glad these women clocked the tea. They clocked the tea and said, wow, that's what you care about right now? And you understand how she still acts all like whole heart American princess evil doll, and it's just like, well, I don't care, kind of like when she walks into the photo shoot day. Kind of like nothing happened, nothing matters. And this is why I think she needs to go to therapy. If she's not, she needs to go. If she is, she needs to get a new therapist. The fact that she brushes things over in her head as if nothing matters or nothing happened is the reason why she is acting the way she's acting towards Ubah. It is personal. It is rooted in her childhood trauma. And that's not fair to Ubah, because Ubah should not be the muse of her childhood trauma. She should not be the device that she gets to take it out on. Like Ubah's the doll that I get to torture. Because I was tortured. Because I couldn't be the doll. That's really what it is. That was good. That was a good one. So they're all talking and basically all coming to the confirmation that yes, we realize what happened to her and that was sad. And, her story is very meaningful for many, being a survivor. But how she used her story to go against Ubah and put her in the dirt. And Sai was the only one that wasn't, Sai was not having tears for that. I love that Sai stood by herself. Sai was like, I'm not falling for this ish just because you can manipulate all these people that are not of color. You're not finna do that. And not all of them that's not of color, but specifically I want to talk about like how she knew she could manipulate the room. But the person she forgot to get out of there was Jessel. And that was a key factor into her stupid little game, which is disgusting that I even have to say it's a game. But I want to let other black women know this is a thing. And when you see it happening, please don't ever say you don't want to be there. Don't ever, I felt how Ubah felt. I did. I already said what I said, right? How I felt when that school organization did what they did to me. I was confused. I was angry, and I didn't want to be on this planet no more. I didn't understand what I did. And then it took me a long time to understand colorism, racism, and how that is in so many groups that you thought you were comfortable in, and it's not. That is live and well in our own community, and there's a problem when people use things like the Me Too movement to manipulate situations to go against dark-skinned black women who are being themselves and pretty much the whistleblower and the kind person and the person that everybody likes. I dealt with it. I was triggered. I was like, yo, I dealt with this exact thing in college. And it didn't feel good in a group. It doesn't. Because you're confused. I know Ubah was confused and hurt. Being confused and hurt is, whoo. And black. Confused, hurt, and black is a whole nother situation. And a woman? Somalian? Canadian? Yeah, living in New York. With these type of people. Psychopaths. You don't know what Ubah's been through. We don't know what Ubah's been through. She only tells us so much on that show, and I feel like this is an unfortunate situation that happened to her, but I hope that she comes 10 times harder into the show and doesn't let Bren get her down. Because I think Ubah was so reserved because Bren literally drains the life out of her. This woman is draining the life out of her wherever she goes. And she was probably tired. Ubah is effortlessly pretty, doesn't need makeup. Like, she is golden on this show. And Bren will drain that. If you let a woman like Bren drain that from you, that is colorist and racist, they will. They will. I let it happen to me at New Paltz University. I did. Literally, like, I had bags. My eyes were puffy. I've never cried so hard in my life. Don't ever let women like Bren do this to you. I can only imagine Ubah crying all night, all day. Even when she got to the meeting with the girl, she was crying. And I know Sai was looking like, I'm so sorry for you that, you know, you had to deal with this. And I'm sorry that this group even believed her for a second. Somebody in the group should have said, hey, Ubah wouldn't do that. I think we should talk about this. But they didn't. Because Bren painted her as the mad black woman. This is a serious problem, and we're going to continue to talk about these things. I don't like that they happen. I may talk about the reunion, may not. I do think this is another colorist issue, like with Potomac. It's unfortunate, but it's sad to see that it's rolled over into New York. And New York has a pretty diverse cast, as in ethnic backgrounds and culture. But it seems like they want to gravitate towards a particular race. And y'all know what that is. And Ubah is the only dark-skinned woman on this show. And it's about New York. So that says something. That says something. It really does. That's the end of this rant. I want to eat breakfast and maybe see a movie. I might see the new SZA and Keke Palmer movie. That's pretty good. I love movies. I'll probably give y'all like a little movie tidbit and put like stuff out there. On Snapchat, I am doing a day in the life of Nia. I'll do this probably once a month so I can show y'all, just be active. Especially now that I do have TikTok, but my TikTok is like, I'm not using it. I don't have the app, but my friend was able to reactivate it. So I did reactivate my TikTok at Nia Talk. Follow me on this channel. Buy my artwork. Your girl is moving. Help a girl out, please. If you can't do that, please like, comment, subscribe. Please make a comment in this video at the bottom. Put a heart there if you watch the whole video. Comment something if you watch the whole video, but specifically a heart would be nice. And I'm out, y'all. Bye.